Full-grown adult size here. And Jade came to us, and you're going to see a common theme here today with the birds, why they're with us. She was actually found in the road, or actually she was underneath someone's car. She presumably was hit by a car, struck that car, got herself to safety under someone's car, and he found her. She was brought to the veterinary hospital, and in order to save her life, her eye had to be removed. So she lost that eye from striking the vehicle so hard. And a lot of times when that happens, these birds, if you could see an owl's skull, they're amazing because it's eyes and ears. So a lot of times when their vision is affected, their hearing is affected as well. So this bird here is not releasable due to her injury striking that car. And I said she's a gray Eastern Screech owl. Now these birds, they're a little bit different than other raptors. They come in different color phases. And you're lucky enough today to see all three that you could see here in Connecticut. And Jerry's going to be bringing out our second Eastern Screech owl, who probably will speak to you. So this is Oakley. And Oakley was a very young bird when she came to us last summer. She's the red Eastern Screech owl. If we kind of turn them around here, you can see the difference in their colors. So she's not going to turn for you. She's not going to turn. She's just going to yell at you. But you can see the color contrast between the two of them. But Oakley's with us for a much different reason, actually, than Jade. It's a very unfortunate, very sad story. So Jade was in her nest cavity in a tree. And I believe, did the tree come down? Oakley, I'm sorry, Oakley was. Purposely, they cut the tree down, and they didn't realize this Eastern Screech owl nest was in there. 4 young Eastern Screech owls came down. Now a woman scooped them up, took them into her house. She called Audubon and said, you know, what should I do? What do I need to do? And they said, bring them in. We'll get them to the proper places. She didn't do that. She kept them in her house. And she raised the Oakley and her siblings for the next several weeks. And then as they got larger, she decided, well, maybe they're getting too big, they're too much, I shouldn't have them, whatever. She brought them back to Audubon. At this point, unfortunately, she'd been talking to that bird, petting the bird, feeding that bird. Oakley here has no clue that she is an Eastern Screech owl. She is a human imprint. She's looking out at everybody, seeing her cousins and her brothers and sisters. She has no fear of people, so she could never be released back to the wild. But a little bit further with that story, when she went to Audubon and she brought back the birds, Audubon said, I thought there was 4. And the woman said, well, one of them died. And three red screeches were dropped off, and the little girl says, Mommy, what about the gray one we have at home? So they never got this woman's name or address, but she's got a gray Eastern Screech owl at her house that she's raising. So this does happen quite often. A lot of times with owls, they come out of their nest cavities or their nests, they get blown off or whatever, they come down and they're on the ground. Somebody's hiking in the woods and finds them on the ground, picks them up, can't find the nest, brings them into their house. These birds, their vision is kind of later than the other ones before it really is 100%, so they can imprint much later than other birds. So if you have them at your house for a few days and you're talking to them and feeding them, and maybe not even feeding them the proper diet, they can imprint pretty quickly. If we get these birds in, first thing we try to do is re-nest birds that come into us. We'll find the area that they came from, we'll go out and play the call, try to attract the parents, see an adult. If we can find the nest, we can re-nest them. I have a quick story about an Eastern Screech owl that I went on a rescue call for. It was only about this big. Came out of the nest. There was only one big tree in the area. I knew it had to be that tree. I climbed the tree with a ladder, got up in the tree, found all these cavities. I'm peeking in, looking, trying to find them. Couldn't find an adult. I did not want to leave the baby without an adult. I was there for 15 minutes in the tree looking everywhere, could not find the adult. Turned my head, going to climb down the ladder and take the bird back to Horizon Wings. There was an adult sitting there watching me the whole time. It never moved, and you can see the camouflage, whether it's the gray or the red, they blend right into the tree. But luckily that baby we were able to put back. So that's the best thing we can do, is you get them back in their nest. Hey, Oakley. So Eastern Screech owls are very common in the state of Connecticut. They make a variety of noises. You can hear Oakley making this little trilling noise, but this is another noise that an Eastern Screech owl makes. So that kind of sounds like a whinny of a horse. So it's interesting. This bird here, Mary-Beth's going to bring out a third Eastern Screech owl, but in the meantime, I can tell you she's a tufted owl. You can see these tufts of feathers on their head. Those are not their ears. Their ears are on the side of their head. They're just feathers, and they're used for camouflage and communication. So they can flatten those tufts down. Usually when they do that, they're not real happy. When they're up, they're kind of just chilling. And Mary-Beth has got the third color Eastern Screech owl.
You've got the microphone.
Oh, I'll talk about it. No, I'll talk about Tansy. So Tansy, this is Tansy. This is what happens when you get Jade and Oakley in a nest together. They make a Tansy. Tansy is a brownish color, cinnamon color almost. You can see the difference between the three of them.
It's a beauty contest.
So Tansy was actually found in the middle of the road. She looked like a clump of leaves. A woman thought she was driving by, saw a clump of leaves in the road, then it kind of moved. So she turned around and went back, and sure enough, there was Tansy laying in the road and rescued her. Much like Jade's injury, similar, she struck the vehicle so hard that it resulted in the loss of the eye, the same eye, as a matter of fact, as Jade. A lot of times this happens. These birds are focused on their prey items when they're diving down into the road. They're not fast flyers. They fly low and slow, and they're focused. Most of the time, they're going to fly into your vehicle. You don't really hit them, they hit you. And they can hit with such a force that it results in the eye loss. We have several hit-by-car barred owls right now, and that's exactly what happens. Remember when we're throwing our garbage out your car windows? Hopefully nobody here does that, but even if you're throwing out an apple core or a banana peel that will decompose, that will attract rodents to the side of the road and bring birds of prey in, and that's what happens to them. I always used to put my apple core and banana peel out the window. I never do it anymore because of that. We see so many hit-by-car birds. So Eastern Screech owls can eat a variety of prey items. They like to eat mice. A lot of mice they'll eat for us. They also eat a lot of bugs. In the summertime, June bugs, you got your light on your back deck, it attracts those big June bugs flying around. You might have a screech owl that's coming in and feeding on them. They might eat other birds as well. They've been known to take down birds the size of a pigeon, believe it or not. They're ferocious. These three birds are sitting here so calm and nice on our glove. They can be very ferocious hunters out in the wild.
The smaller they are.
I was just going to say, they have little bird syndrome. Yep. They can be very, very ferocious. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Listen to you. So one other thing I'm going to talk about, you're going to learn some amazing features about owls today. You're going to learn one feature from each owl. For the screech owls, we're going to talk about their eyes, how amazing their eyes are. Owls have huge, huge eyes. Makes up 1/5 of their body weight, their eyes do. That's how large their eyes are. So their eyes are fixed like a headlight of a car. So there's no room for muscles to move those eyes. So they're fixed straight ahead. They can't move it. So we can do something that these owls can't do. You can hold your head still and still move those eyes and see side to side, right? An owl cannot do that. In order for them to have the full range of vision, they're turning their head. So anybody here think they can turn their head all the way around? No. So the puppet we demonstrate. The head goes 270 degrees, 3/4 of the way around, and they do it really fast in both directions, so it does look like it goes all the way around, yeah. And how they have the ability to do that is they've got a lot of bones in their neck. So all mammals, we have 7 vertebrae on the back there of our neck. Dog has 7, a giraffe has 7, they're just huge. This owl here, these 2 owls, they have 14. So twice as many. That gives them that ability to twist and turn that head the way they do. Eastern Screech owls, I mentioned that we found Oakley in a hole of a tree. That's where they're going to nest. You can put up Eastern Screech owl boxes and kind of attract them, hopefully attract them if you can get the squirrels out of there. But that's where they will nest, in a cavity of a tree. So please remember that when you're cutting down all those dead trees in your yard, cleaning up, doing spring cleaning. That's a great spot where you're going to have owls living and other things living in. Another spot is chimneys. Remember that. That's a cavity to them. When it's not working, you don't have a fire going, they're going to get in there. We had a story of a barred owl that did that. I went in, and there's a barred owl on the lip of a brick halfway down the chimney. It had gotten in there and couldn't get back out. When they do that, when they're trying to get out, they're scratching up the side of your chimney. They've got all that creosote on the side of your chimney walls. That's getting in their eyes. Or they can damage their feathers very easily from doing that. This barred owl happened to be very lucky. The woman heard it pretty quickly, got in there. I was able to get a broom up there, and it came down on the broom for me. released it back, walked outside and we released it. So very, very lucky barred owls. Some of them aren't that lucky. People start their fires and don't know that they're in there. So please, it was a lesson for this woman. She turned and told her husband, I know what you're doing tomorrow. You're capping our chimney.